Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about stop trying to force the horse to drink. We gotta stop forcing and trying to force the horse to drink, you know. That horse is not gonna drink it. It doesn't matter if you put it in a straw. You know, it don't matter if you tried to get some kind of mechanism to hold the mouth open to pour it down. It's gonna spit all of it back out, you know what I'm saying? If you try to inject it, that'll probably be about the only way, you know what I mean? But we don't want to have to resort to those methods. Like, so what I mean by is we have to stop trying to force the horse to drink is your basic scenario quote, you know, don't cast your pearls among swine. It's a lot of beings out here that don't understand once you live a certain way or you are in awareness of your life that you live for however many years you lived it. People out here do live factual lives, you know what I mean? Meaning that they do have things that they can stand on and solidify their belief system and why they are making the stance that they're making in whatever situation that they are in, you know what I mean? And a lot of these other beings, and we're just gonna call them horses for right now, you know what I mean? Like a lot of these other horses out here, it's like you could take them to the pasture. They might want to run around with you for a little while, you know what I'm saying? But they want to keep you away from the water too, you know what I mean? And that's like a weird process. If you think about horses in a pasture, like they're gonna need water eventually, you know what I mean? But it's almost like these horses are like specialized horses, and when you go to the water to drink, that's when they want to bump you out the way to drink in your exact spot. We're gonna have a lot more situations to go in our hand where we are trying to help horses out here, you know what I mean? We are giving them legitimate information. We have walked lives where we have been in some crazy situations, but we stood solid in our belief system and we made it out the other end, you know what I mean? We are in plenty of times and days and situations where we done had our backs against the wall and didn't know what was gonna happen, you know what I'm saying? And then we still came out on the other end of that light. And it's not like these other horses don't comprehend that. It's just that the way that they have been programmed, it's like these horses have to destroy themselves and the other horses around them. You know what I mean? And the only way that they don't do that is if they're draining the life force out of all the other horses, so then they are the horse that is the fastest and the strongest and the prettiest, you know what I'm saying? Just like a lot of us are at an age now to where we done experience adolescence, teenagers, 20s, and then 30s, some of our 30s, some are in their 40s, 50s, and on up, you know what I mean? So it's like, if we are the beings who communicate and we add the value, we use our words with substance, then when we talk, we mean what we say and we say what we mean. So why would we be projecting outwardly something that wouldn't be beneficial to them, or something that we've noticed or experienced in our own pastime? So because there's so much witchcraft going on right now, right? You got all this demonic stuff over here, but then you got the angels over here trying to clean this mess up, you know what I'm saying? So of course they gotta work some sauce too. We gotta work some sauce too, you know what I mean? So it's like in the midst of fighting all of this, you have to understand like people's positions. You gotta understand what's up with some of these horses out here, you know what I mean? So when you find yourself in a space to where you are bumping heads with a being or another entity, You know what I mean? And then it comes to your awareness. You've been in this walk for a little while. You can see it while it's happening. Now you're able to present tools that would be helpful and beneficial to that being or entity and to yourself as well, because you're already acknowledging and working on it live in time. You know what I mean? Live in time. And that's what I be telling a lot of people. Like, the technology is cool, but unless something is engaging with you while you're on camera live in time, like, you could have a pretty good balance of your energy, even if you had stuff going on prior. You know what I mean? And some of these horses that's out here, they spiritually are in, like, they're so lost and so far away from where they actually are supposed to be at as a being and an entity that they don't even know how to find themselves. So it's kind of like those old books, Where's Waldo? You know, they're trying to figure out where the hell they are. Some of them are. Some of them have accepted that they are not gonna find that Waldo, you know what I mean? And this is what it is. We about to use this playbook. We about to rock out. This is what it's about to be. But you do have some other beings who are searching and looking and digging, you know what I mean? But the thing is, with some of these horses, and you trying to force them to the water, right? You're trying to force them to drink the water. The horses that aren't drinking the water willingly, you know, you already gonna question that because they need the water. And then the ones that you're actually trying to force, you gotta think about it. You're only forcing because you care, because you have some kind of spiritual connection to that being. Because if you had that same kind of situation or engagement with a stranger, you wouldn't be responding the same way. You would care less because y'all spiritual vessels have not intertwined with each other. So that spaceship is very distant to your spaceship. And that's how we can always tell that these other beings in these playbooks is extremely demonic. Because you can actually take the time out, put some healthy stuff on for them, and then they'll flip around and they'll start spitting the water at you and splashing at you like, why would you bring water to me? Like, you know I'm thirsty, why would you bring it to me? That's the kind of retarded shit they would say, you know what I mean? And I usually only like to use those two. The retarded is when I'm being nice. That's when I'm being nice. That's when I want to be extremely kind. But I really want to be saying they some demonic ass motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? They doing it intentional. It's all tensional. So once you start understanding that everything and how they are operating are intentional, the horse is intentionally not drinking the water. Because you know why? When you're not around, the horse sneaks over to the water and drinks some. So that's why you never really actually see the horse drinking the water, and then outside of it sneaking sips of water because it feels like it gotta sneak around. I don't know why the hell the horse feels like it needs to sneak around, but the horse still sneaks around. That be the weird, witchy shit that be going on over there. It's like everything is like all so secretive and like hidden, like. But then when you have the flashlight come around, they freeze up like the deer do. You know what I mean? It's too much light. Too much light can blind you like darkness. So it's too much light, you know? I don't ever put on shoes if they don't fit. Unless physically I'm joking around and I'm playing, you know what I mean? But outside of that, spiritually, like, if somebody talking about something or projecting some kind of energy, if them shoes do not fit me, I am not gonna put them on. You know what I'm saying? If them horseshoes do not fit me, I will not put them horseshoes on. I'm like, these too big. When I run, they kind of throwing my balance off. You know what I mean? I need my shoes. Give me some of my size. I need my size. You know what I'm saying? You need your size, not their size. You know what I mean? And then just being mindful of the tactics and the process, man. Like, this is, we in 2023, you know what I mean? Like, it's all the way elevated to the surface. Think about, like, when you first put oil and water in a pot and you stir it up. That's what it was before, right? But then what happens to the water and the oil once it has time to settle? This shit separates. That is where we are at right now. All that demonic oil is present. It's not mixed in anymore. And then we got all the water. It's just like, oh, okay. I knew that this stuff wasn't supposed to be on me. This wasn't me. I always felt weird, and I always felt extra guilt for all this other extra weird. That's not how I vibrated. I've never been really that much of a secretive person, or had to be hidden or do a bunch of sneaky shit behind a bunch of people back. You know what I'm saying? The water and the oil has separated. You know what I mean? So just understand, in this wartime, you know what I'm saying? Women, you have to be extremely mindful of demonic men. You have to be extremely mindful of demonic men. And it's like the way it's set up now, it's like the Bible. You know, you can always correlate examples from out there because there's a bunch of stories. Just like if they wipe that book away, we can write one right now and pass it on through life. Stories, allegories, divine feminine energy, divine masculine energy, right? But even when you take some of those stories out of the book, you can still correlate those with your real life. You know what I mean? And just being in a space of being able to see, like, if something is resonating with other beings all the way across the world, and these beings are correlating with these beings all the way across the world, right? And we're all having similar experiences. Spiritually, you have to be able to read energy to know what is genuine and what is sincere. And then secondary, it's a bunch of mass that's thrown in there. But the thing is, with all of that shit, it's like, once you take in the concept you're a spiritual being having a human experience, you are not this vessel. You know, you came somewhere, you're going somewhere after this. Then you can remove all of that other witchy stuff that's in the box, because now you taking on out of the box concepts, which is not gonna fit the societal norms. So then what I was saying about the witchy men, now you have them who are being more speak softly and figuring out how to use their feminine energy to trick you with the mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have some masculinity. You have to have some fight. You have to have some fire. So if you got a bunch of witchy beta men that's all sitting with their legs crossed, because there's not a whole lot in between there, so you know, it's like doing all this soft spoken shit in the middle of a war. That look weird as hell. I'm telling you, that shit look weird as hell. That reminds me of the damn band playing on the Titanic while the ship is going down. That's weird. We're in the middle of a war. You do that shit when the war is over. You want me to sit down and go woosah when I got a battle here, battle there, battle there, battle there, battle there. Then you got me on some Reiki and some yoga, which is just all stretching in all these different forms and names. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be easy and mindful of the witchy speakeasy doctors who really are correlated with the system. They have to be able to think outside the system. If their first thought process isn't, how would I protect and defend and provide for you if there was no system in place, then they some witchy ass motherfuckers, because that should be their process genetically, spiritually. That should just be embedded in you. Not, oh yeah, I need to clock a job. Because just like the vid, they shut that shit down. I was at a kitchen job running the whole thing, back house manager, all kind of shit, 4 or 5 years. Vid happened, they shut it down. that was one of the business that was affected by it, you know what I'm saying? So you still got to know how to operate and process. And then for the men, you already know what time it is. It's a lot of bitches. It's a lot of those out here, you know what I mean? So it's, you have to build something, and then you have to let them migrate to you. You know, kind of like ants. You just put a chip out there and you just let them migrate to you. That way you can kind of flick off the ones that you want to maybe possibility, you know, connect spiritually, and then you got the other ones out the way. But if you in the Western world, you have to build something in order to minimize. I'm not saying you're going to be able to get rid of all the witchy bitches, but you're going to have to minimize, because they have the lead in Western society. And then when they balls come out they skirt, the shit be weird, and then they got the whole police system on their side. It's just a whole weird process. The court system, all that shit. And most witch bitches should already understand that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's all intentional. It's demonic. You have to be aware. Stop trying to force the horse to drink. If the motherfucker don't want to drink, don't take them to the water no more. Don't ask them if they want no water. Don't even mention water. When you go get some water, you just turn around and go get some water. Don't say anything to them about the water. You know what I mean? They ain't about that life. You know what I'm saying? We all out here fighting the battle, all of us. So you cannot constantly give someone excuses for being a demon. You know what I mean? You only get but so many passes before we got to start swiping left. You know what I mean? It's war time. I ain't want to run up too long though. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.